So, welcome everybody to Clear Vision Wednesday. It's my weekly live show all about natural eye care, vision improvement, how you can look beautiful, how your eyes can sparkle. And today I have a guest on that I had on before. But before I introduce her, subscribe to this channel. Make sure you get the updates every week. Click the little bell icon. This is really important so you don't miss out when we go live. So today's guest is somebody who's been here before. And before I bring her on, I'm so excited about this conversation because I've been using the products, the castor oil, for over 5 years myself, and I've seen incredible results. So let me bring you on stage, Dr. Marisol. Welcome back.
Hi, thank you so much. I love being here with you, Claudia, and the Vision Club. It's so awesome. And of course, we all love castor oil, so that's even the better part that we get to speak about what we love.
Yeah, so the funny thing is, I got introduced to castor oil from my mentor, Dr. Rita Marie Loscalzo, probably 6 years ago. Started using it, and the funny thing is, initially I didn't really see much change, but then I just know, like, I realized that we have to be a little bit patient. But before we jump ahead, tell us a little bit because I met you 3 years ago for the first time, but I've been using your products for like about 6 years, right?
So
Tell us a
cool.
little bit, how did you get into this whole castor oil world? Like, how did you get into this?
Yeah, it was really, was working in the natural health industry. I was exploring the world. I think when you walk into the natural health industry, your eyes become so open and you're just like a kid in a candy store and you're like, ooh, this does this and this does that. And you're, looking at everything. And I remember one day I was walking through a store and I got this like imagery, like a halo around some bottles on the bottom shelf. And I kind of took a double take and I was like, what is that? And it was this dusty bottle, a dusty dark bottle. And when I picked it up, it said castor oil on it. And the minute I said like castor oil, I read it. It was neat, like my heartstrings pulled. It was almost as though it was calling my name. And sure enough, 25 years later, I'm still like, my heart is beating with the castor oil. And, lots of journeys brought me here. Lots of learning about castor oil, lots of not believing that castor oil could do what it does. I think that had me stopped for a long time before I actually jumped into castor oil because I thought it was so woo-woo. How could one oil do so many things? Like when we talk about the cosmetic applications, it's amazing how and where and all these swaps you can do with your natural beauty and cosmetic routines at night. So eventually, once I got over the disbelief, which I think is something that most people find when it comes to castor oil, and I started using it in all of its ways, from a castor oil cosmetically to the use of the castor oil liver pack and breast packs and thyroid pack and the packs all over the body. I just became such a firm believer in my clinical practice. It was the number one thing everyone had to do castor oil liver packs and work with castor oil, or I wouldn't see them as patients. I believed in it so strongly. And, at one point I decided to really close my practice. So I'm now a former naturopathic doctor, and I decided to go full fledged and really just teach the world the wonderful ways that we could be using castor oil to, first of all, replace lots of the toxins that are within our beauty cabinet, but then also to work with castor oil from an energetic perspective, which is very, very cool.
I can't wait to ask you all these questions. But before we get into that, so I have, lots of friends from India, and I was recently eating at in a part of Los Angeles where there's an Indian community, and we went to the grocery stores. They have castor everywhere, but I think none of it was organic, and it was all like in plastic bottles, like like what is the stuff that people buy that frying oil, like I don't even the
Oh,
canola,
canola oil
right? So I'm like,
and
but huge piece of Ayurvedic, or like Indian traditions. And it's so funny how so many times, like the science, or like we've slowly come back to these ancient traditions that have been around for like thousands of years. And we're like, now it's so funny how we slowly come back full circle. So let's talk a little bit about toxins because obviously I'm all about the eyes.
yeah.
And I've been using castor oil mostly initially to just kind of lubricate my eyes and put it on the lashes because my lashes are pretty short. And with
Yeah.
menopause, my eyebrows were getting like all weird.
Yes.
But let's talk a little bit about the toxins because that's been a journey that have been on recently, not recently, but over time, right? The more we learn about all the toxic ingredients and especially cosmetics, there's no rules. The FDA doesn't like we can put whatever into the cosmetics. And so tell us a little bit about that because I love it as a makeup remover. And before you even answer, I did a photo shoot a couple days ago, and the first time ever since I think maybe once in my 20s, the makeup artist put fake lashes on me, and I was like, I look great, right? But I was like, oh my God, these fake lashes. And then I'm like, I couldn't wait to get them off. I'm like, castor oil, and it's like it did a great job taking them off. So, but tell us a little bit about like why we should consider not using like products or eye makeup remover or any of that and use castor oil instead for eye care, like beauty
Yeah.
care.
It's so important. So just to give people a preface, so I'm a former naturopathic doctor, but when I was in my profession, my focus was all on something called homotoxicology. So the study of toxins within the human system. And the company, the natural health company that I worked with focused on that as well too. So for me, toxins was always a really, really important thing to look at, to take out of the picture as fast as possible so that the body and the body could heal and it could get to where it wanted to go. And not only am I a former naturopathic doctor, but I'm also a former beauty queen. And as a beauty queen, I was, born and raised to like learn about all the makeup, learn how to use it, put it on everything, everywhere, and always more is better. And honestly, like I had to what ended up happening when I became a naturopathic doctor and started like finding out about all the ingredients and so many different things that we have at home, from our household ingredients, cleaners to our cosmetics. I really was shocked, and I'm like, wow, I'm going to have to really start to like actively begin to search for alternatives and see what I can do, because this cannot be good. Because the biggest issue is that, cosmetics, there really is very little to no regulation. In the United States, only 8 ingredients are banned, as compared to 1,300 ingredients that are banned in the European Union. This is insane. 8 to 1,300, imagine. Okay, seriously.
That's
So there's
crazy.
like, no, so there's like 1,292 ingredients that are okay for Americans to use, but they would not allow Americans to use that if they were living in the EU. So that alone. The second problem is that our face, especially the area around the eyes, is area of thinning or lighter skin. So the skin doesn't need much to permeate. And when you're using like things like eyeshadow, a common ingredient in eyeshadow is aluminum. Now they hide it and package it like a magnesium aluminate silica, I believe it is, but there's still aluminum in it. It's part of the molecule. So when it goes into your body, it's going to break down. And we know that the eye goes straight into the nervous system because there's no barrier in between of the eye socket and straight into the brain. We've outlawed, or most companies or people now already are aware that aluminum should not be in their antiperspirants, right? Because we know it clogs pores, stops you from sweating, and then becomes a neurological toxin and might be connected and correlated to things like Alzheimer's. But no one's talking about it for your eyeshadow, where there's
Right.
direct access into the eye, into the brain. Like, it's just not right. And no one is talking about it. No one is thinking about it. And it's not only your eyeshadow. It's your eyeshadow. It's your lipstick. It's your concealer. It's your base. It's the amount of different products that we have been marketed to and sold to and told we had to use it in order to have great skin, such as a cleanser, a toner, a moisturizer, one for daytime, one for nighttime, one eye serum, one this, one that, like countless. And here are pocketbooks are emptying out while corporate America and the cosmetic companies, I have no problem with cosmetic companies, no problem with corporate America. I own a company and it is a corporation. However, I do believe business needs to be ethical and we need to operate properly. And we need to realize that every product and ingredient that we create and put out there into the world has an impact, whether positive or negative. And sadly, there are just too many negative influences that are coming from corporate America, especially in the beauty category. And we've got to get rid of it. And women are just not aware of it. Women may read labels for their food, but they're not reading the labels on their beauty ingredients. And this needs to change. And that's one of the reasons why I'm spearheading and speaking on my channel, Be Well Queen, all about this, because it's time we become aware. And one of the best gifts that I can share with people, thankfully, I have this experience that I gained and built over the years with Queen of the Thrones, which is all about the wonderful many uses of castor oil, which is a single ingredient and the most natural, like cleaning, healthy oil that can be. It's beautiful. So at the end of the day, we have options, and the options we're going back to are the original beauty care tools, ironically.
I love that so much because I mean, on a lot of cosmetic products, there's not even ingredients listed, right? When it comes to eyeshadow or concealer and I think when I first,
Well, they're listed, but I mean, not even my eyes can see them, and I have 20/20 vision. So I
I
don't
have really
know
good
how
vision.
your people will be able to see as they
I guess
interact with
some
that.
of the boxes of eyeshadow are like also so tiny. I mean, yes, you're right. Some of them are listed, but it's also a long list of things. And thankfully, the Environmental Working Group has the Skin Deep database. So sometimes, looking there or helping yourself. But it is, like you said, I see that. I mean, I see that with my own daughters. I mean, they use beauty products. We all do. And at some point, I wish somebody would have told me, but also maybe in my 20s, I would have been like, oh, whatever,
Right.
like get to the point where, like you said, a lot of times we have symptoms, we get sick, we have all these things, and then we're like, well, what happened? Right.
Yeah.
And I just did a toxicology screen earlier, maybe 9 months ago, and I had some heavy metals and some things, and my body was like, wait, I didn't have any glyphosate. I'm like, yay. But
Okay.
it's like, yeah, you're like, what happened? But there's so much stuff that we're exposed to, like you just said, and many things are forbidden in Europe. So let's talk a little bit about because castor oil, like what can castor oil actually do for your beauty routine? I absolutely love this. I use this eye mask since forever, organic cotton one. But what can we do for castor oil? When is a good time to use it for the especially the eyes? But we can talk about, general like beauty routines. But what do you recommend?
Okay, before we get there, could I just like answer about the apps? And because I just want people to know this because I think it's really, really important
Yes,
about,
please
okay,
do.
and then about toxic load. So, and this will lead great into the swaps you can make. So the issue with the apps are great. They're a great starting point, but they're literally just that. They are a starting point. And the biggest reason is because of the research that is classifying the ingredients as being safe or not. The research of the ingredients is done in isolation. So it's each ingredient all on its own. And that's a problem because as we know, the body, when you put together oil, glycerin, powder, mica, aluminum, different ingredients that are within the beauty range category. There's all kinds. What happens though is when you mix it all together, an ingredient on its own functions very differently than an ingredient within the whole. And within the whole, with the glycerins and the oils, that ingredient is going to now absorb. So a heavy metal that might not have absorbed when it's just tested all alone in isolation over a short period of time, it won't test like it's going to be a problem, but it's problematic when it's within a formula. And truly what the beauty industry needs to do is to basically start like regulating things and test each formula individually. So that's a little bit where the apps go wrong. And so
Right, that makes sense.
it becomes really, really important for the consumer and for you out there to actually understand ingredients and understand how things are combined and understand that it's very different a study that is done over a 6-month period compared to you applying lipstick. The average woman applies lipstick, they say 4 times per day. I think it's more like 20. Like I remember when I was actively working with lipstick, I was constantly reapplying lipstick and then just eating it all. So if we're reapplying and doing that every single day for our entire lifetime, what is the total load? And it's the total load principle of toxins within our system that makes us sick or not. So if, for an example, you've now cleaned up your whole diet, you've moved out of a house that has mold, you've changed all your containers and they're no longer plastic. These are all wonderful steps to do. And I've done many of those along the way. And I keep doing more. I'm always doing more. And I'm sure, Claudia, you're right there
Same
with me.
thing, yeah.
Right there with me. But the thing is cosmetics. Cosmetics, you're applying them every single day and you're using a multitude of cosmetic products that you don't even need at all. And so that's where the problem begins, right? Is the total load becomes just way too large. So when I started down this avenue, I was like, okay, I'm going to look at my routine because, the first step of anything is just taking an assessment. Like when you go to a doctor's office, you got to like, okay, what's the problem? What should we look at? What are you doing every day? What can we fix? So that's what I did. I looked at my life and I'm like, okay, well, I'm waking up in the morning. I'm toner. I'm cleanser, toner, daytime moisturizer, full body cream all over my body. And then I go for the day and then I'm doing my thing. Oh, and then of course makeup, right? I put makeup and la la la. And then at night, what happens? Well, I'm back there again. I'm taking off my makeup with this like, makeup remover pop towelettes. I'm cleansing my face again, and then I'm putting toner to tighten it up again, and then I'm putting, nighttime moisturizer, and then I'm putting nighttime serum to make sure everything's really nice and juicy around my eyes so they look younger longer, So I was like, oh my God, it's so many different things. I'm like, why don't I just start with my nighttime routine? So the best place I feel to start with doing swaps. So this is the concept I want to encourage everyone, is that we are going to be swapping your toxic beauty care for castor oil, clean beauty care where you can. And then from there, we can extend and grow. But my honest encouragement to everybody is that before you start changing everything in your beauty care cabinet, start with the basics and start with castor oil. Because castor oil is going to cover up a lot of, it's going to, not cover up, but it'll replace a lot of different products. And then from there, it simplifies your whole routine. And then you can go step by step into things like eyeshadow and eyeliner and blush and lipstick and la. And I can get you guys also all links and information for more things about what are great swaps, because I have some of my favorites. Like I've got a beautiful, I might have it here actually, a lipstick. Oh no, I don't. A lipstick that I like to use, which is literally made in a herbal apothecary in Denver, Colorado. And it is probably the best red lip tint. It reminds me of a lip tint that would have been used probably in the Edwardian era back in the day. And it's just subtle, right? Which is just like that beautiful red tint. And then, because I'm very simplistic, I like red tint, I like a little bit of rouge, and then I like some eyeshadow, and that's it, and keep it simple. And I use castor oil on my eyelashes.
So everything you said was brilliant. So I would love to get some tips for it. But I like you talked about swaps, right? Because when I first learned about these things, I got so overwhelmed, right?
Overwhelming.
Sodium, lauryl sulfate, whatever. And then I
Yeah.
looked at the bottle, like everybody, everything had it. I'm like, oh my God. So it can feel really overwhelming. And like you, I'm very like basic. I never actually usually wear makeup. I'm always like compared to most people, right? Especially in
Yeah.
America. Germans overall, I don't want to generalize, but we don't put as much makeup on.
Simplistic.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we do. We you and I we will be speaking on stages. Like we there's also a certain level like or we get interviewed, whatever. Sometimes you just have to do
It's
something.
little makeup. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but basically I love the idea of swaps and that I did the same thing with my diet. I did the same thing with my household products. And I think not getting overwhelmed, but taking like little steps. And I love the idea of having one product like castor oil being so useful. So so tell us, where should we start with swapping? Like what are the easy things that everybody can do?
Okay, so let's do the nighttime. Okay, so we can swap out about 5 nighttime products easily. So we can swap up you can swap out your cleanser. We can swap up a toner if a toner is being used. We can swap out a nighttime moisturizer, an eye serum, and an oral wash, as well as eyebrow and eyelash serum. So that's 6 products swapped.
And eye makeup remover, right? No, the
Yeah.
eye
Oh,
makeup.
and eye makeup remover. You're right. 7. Thank you. So 7 products are swapped. Again, cleanser, toner, nighttime moisturizer, eye serum, oil, mouthwash, or something to clean out your mouth, and then eye makeup remover and brow and lash serum. Okay, so 7 products that you can swap out just by replacing castor oil at night. So here's how you do it. Number 1, removing your eye makeup. So simple. Castor oil cleanses the skin. So literally you put castor oil wherever you have the most amount of makeup and literally just wipe it off with a wet cloth. That's as simple as it is. No chemicals, easy peasy. Plus it makes things feel really, really soft. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, let's wash your face with castor oil. This is the most non-intuitive thing to do.
Yeah, tell me, I've never even thought of that because I use it for makeup remover forever, but I've never, and I use it as a oil pulling oil, but I've never used it for, tell us, how do you wash
This
your
will
face?
change your life, ladies and gentlemen. When you start doing face washing with castor oil, it will change your life. I look at myself in the mirror, take pictures of myself before I do it, after I do it, and in the morning I do it. And every morning I look at the mirror, I look at myself in the mirror, and I go, wow, I look so much better. And every morning, no word of a lie, I'm like, this stuff is crazy. Even I believe it. And I mean, I sell it, and I'm just completely like, whoa, like can't miss my nighttime routine because my skin looks good, so good.
Okay, so how do you do it? Tell us how
I
to.
do it. So And also with castor oil, less is more. So let's remember that. Okay. Let's stop being of the mentality that more is better. We don't need that. Or less is better is, I think, is a much better mentality in general. So I'll take a hot cloth, like a steamed cotton cloth of some sort, steam it, put it under the tap, just make it hot, make it a little bit moist, and then put that on your face just to start up and just open up your pores. Then take a dollop, so that's about a dime size to a quarter size of castor oil within your hand, or alternatively, you can use the fancy roller.
Oh yeah, I
And
love the roller. I have that too. Yeah.
yeah, so I either use the oil, it depends. I kind of go back and forth, right? I'm good with both. So I'll sometimes just like, I'm actually more of the habit, because this is a product we launched or later. I'm more of the habit of taking the bottle and just going, right? So that's typically what I do. So take about your dime to a quarter size dollop of castor oil. I then mix it through my hands. Sometimes I will add a little bit more water if I find that it's too much friction. And
Right.
and then that's an important point to do. And then I just put it all over my face like this. And this is an opportunistic time to either take a gua sha or cupping or red light therapy, any of those things that you can do. Like once you put the oil on your face, take advantage and do, or even your knuckles, like take your knuckles, go like this. You
I've
simply
never
go,
done this. What is the
yeah.
first that Gausha? What was that?
So the first step would be up and down, and you're just lifting your lymph and just getting things going.
Oh
And then
yeah, the neck has a lot of lymph node, like one third of
yeah,
the lymph nodes. So what did you say though? Gausha, what was that thing?
so
Oh,
a
I'm
gua
so
sha.
okay.
A gua sha is like a Chris. It's like a little. Sorry, I don't have one here, but it basically looks like it's usually made out of like crystal amethyst or crystals or quartz or jade. Thank you, Sandy Lion. And like you can just you rub it on your skin and you do create enough friction, and that friction is said to like break down a bit of the collagen makeup in the tissues. But when you break it down, then you rebuild it, and that's what helps to give
Gotcha.
a lift to the skin. So there's gua sha. Mine is rose quartz, but yes, jade is very popular. Perfect. Yeah. So mine is rose quartz too. So like you can do that, or you can do with your knuckles, which you're doing the same routine either way. Like you start here and then you go like here, right? And don't be afraid to pull your skin. Like I was a little bit afraid to at first because my mother had, I guess, poisoned my mind a bit with like my being too self-expressive and moving my face too much, and that I was going to be very wrinkly when I got older, which actually isn't very true because I'm, into my late 40s and my skin is quite good. So I'm like, well, castor oil made up for it, mom. Right. But those things are really important because that when you do gua sha or cupping or red light therapy, that really brings and drives circulation to your face. And one of the biggest reasons why women show signs of aging is because we are so stressed in our day to day that our shoulders are tense, and our neck muscles here are literally tightened, and they're blocking the circulation, both lymphatic and circulatory, up to the face. So it's just your body that's actually blocking the good circulation. So when you start doing that, you're moving things along, and they're ancient practices that are just simple to do and they feel good. So why wouldn't you do them? Right.
Okay.
So back to the face wash. After you do that, now you have the oil on your face. Then take that same steamed cloth, wet it again, and then wipe off any excess oil. And your face feels as soft as a baby's bottom. And you just are like, wow, basically. And
Okay,
then
so to reframe, so I take the warm cloth first. So let's say I have make today. I actually wear makeup on my skin, so you do that to remove the actual makeup stuff,
yeah.
most of these,
Or
and then
any dirt and impurities that may be on your skin, right? Because over the daytime, the real importance about why you do wash your face at night is just because you've been exposed to a lot of outside toxins, and your skin is carrying those, and you don't want to carry them to go to bed, because then that
so
impacts how well your skin can breathe, how your
right.
skin can do and feel good, right?
But you basically remove most of that, let's say makeup stuff or the concealer with the cloth, with the hot water, and then you do that toning or tell us a little bit more what the castor oil does. So you put it in there in the hand, you kind of put it on there with those movements you were showing us, right? I need to learn that. So what is that doing? And then we take it off. Obviously, any extra oil that we kind of take off. So what is that doing for us? I mean, I know the lymph is really. I teach myofascial release because yes, we need to have blood flow to the brain and lymph flow down to have good eyesight and healthy eyes and our brain being supplied by oxygen. And totally true. But what does
It's
it do to the skin when you do that? When you apply like, tell us a little bit more about that.
all the same principles of healing, right? It's like making sure there's no stress, making sure there's good circulation and lymphatic drainage, and making sure you don't put more toxins into your body, which is what we're trying to do here today.
Yeah.
Awesome. So the main benefits when it comes to the skin of castor oil, number one, like we always get the question, is this going to clog my pores? There's no worry about it clogging your pores because castor oil actually is the oil that is the least on the clogging pore scale. In fact, one of the things I hate seeing out there on the market is when people combine castor oil with other oils like coconut oil, because coconut oil actually is very good at clogging pores. So, castor oil is your go-to because it won't clog pores. Another question that we always get, which I'm just going to answer right now. If you're doing and washing your face with castor oil, people have heard that maybe castor oil can help grow hair or eyelashes or eyebrows. Well, it's not going to grow hair where it's not meant to grow. And castor oil, in effect, doesn't grow hair. What it does is it just helps to deeply, deeply nourish and hydrate, right? With rich nourishment in the skin and under the skin. And that is the key to castor oil, right? There's no other oil like it, not like no other oil that is as low on the comedogenic scale, and no other oil that can hydrate the way that castor oil can hydrate, and no other oil that can nourish so richly, high in vitamin E, high in like so many great factors like polyphenols that the body needs and the skin needs to preserve it looking the most youthful longer. So it's really just such a beautiful oil, and you can't find anything like it. And that's why it's so thick and so different, right? And has it's that unique, like if you go to smell, a good quality castor oil will have like a mild nutty smelling flavor. Like that's kind of the way that we choose our castor oils. We make sure that it has the good smell because there's some castor oils that have like a rancid
I
smell.
know I smell like some bad castor. Yours is, I love it. It's just it's almost yummy. Of course, I don't drink it, but I do oil pulling with it. But okay, so so what about, let's say I have mascara. What I usually do, just question if that's okay. So I usually use a Q-tip, and because then mascara, I really try to get like the little, and I don't use it like, so I do that first before I do the whole face wash, right? And you would take the,
Yeah.
no? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, or you can do it backwards. You can do face wash first and then put extra oil and wipe it off,
Okay,
right?
gotcha.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
really like me, I am all about convenience and easy and simple. I don't like complicated. I want it easy. If I could do it in 3 steps rather than five, I'm going to do that because I just
Perfect.
want it simple. And I think most people are like that too. So whichever way, and that being said, you got to try to figure out how it works for you because you're very different from me. I like certain things in a certain way. You know what I mean? So you got to work with your own self. And but that is absolutely fine. As long as you get the castor oil on there and you're removing it off with something, that's perfect. That's exactly what you
Okay,
want to do.
great. And then what I usually do, so I will start that routine now because I haven't used it as a cleanser. But so then I usually put like like I put a lot of oil around, like when I'm ready to go to bed, right? I put a lot of oil around the eyes, on the lashes, just like, and then I use the either this or, and then I put the eye mask on. And I actually like to do a little bit of a lazy eight, like an infinity sign that feels really grounding and balancing. Like, once I apply the oil, I just like to do a little massage there. And then I go to bed and I put my mask on. So,
That's what I
okay,
do.
okay,
Exactly. Yeah, I do exactly the same thing too. So here's where I do use the roller. I do the lazy eight with the roller. And you're right. I soak up. I put as much on like crow's feet here, like I'm like underneath the
yeah,
eyes. Castor oil will improve like dark circles under the eyes. The look will look better. The crow's feet. I mean, it like number 11s, everything. So I'll do a little bit extra on my number 11s, and then I'll go around. And then I do not go to bed without this eye mask. It's the biggest godsend I've ever had. I just love them so much. I'm so grateful I made them. I invented created them light colored and soft and beautiful because they're like there's no other mask I think that matches it. And the cool thing with this is it actually keeps the castor oil contained, which is important because you don't want the castor oil everywhere. And you actually want it to have a lot of time around your eyes because that's where it'll be the most beneficial, right? So yeah, so you basically covered how to do your nighttime eye serum as well as how to do eyebrow and lash serum. So that's the easy step. So we covered cleanser, toner, nighttime moisturizer, nighttime eye serum, nighttime brow and lash, eye makeup remover, and now we have the last one left, which is oral rinse.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I don't usually do, I mean, I do the oil pulling in the morning, but what do you recommend for, tell
I
us
mean,
about.
so for me, I love oil pulling at night for the big reason is that like here's the thing. When we go to bed at night, so many of us are either like half mouth open breathing or like you're open breathing typically, and then your
Right.
mouth gets dry. And when people's mouth gets dry, the unfortunate situation that comes and occurs from that is that people are higher likelihood to be getting things like cavities and caries in their mouth, right? So we really, really want to make sure that we avoid that, and that's why I like the nighttime oil pulling. So oil pulling is an oral rinse that you can do with castor oil. It's an ancient Ayurvedic practice, typically was done with coconut oil and sesame oil. Again, I like those oils, but I find castor oil is just so much more superior and easier to do. With those oils, you have to use 1 to 2 tablespoons, but with castor oil, you only need to use 1 to 2 teaspoons. That's it. Simple. And with the other oils, you have to do 20 minutes. With castor oil, 1 to 2 minutes. So it's just doable.
It's so easy to do. I know I never could do it for 20 minutes. And also coconut oil, like now that it's cooler here, right? I mean, it's like then it firms up and then it's not liquid anymore. And so I find castor oil so much easier for that. Okay, so doing it in the evening. Okay.
Yeah. So in the evening, what I typically do is I'll floss my teeth, I'll brush my teeth, and clean toothpaste. I use Wellness. I really like the brand Wellness. They have a really, really nice toothpaste. And then from there at night, I'll oil pull because I want the last thing on my mouth to be that moisturizing, nourishing, hydrating oil next to my oral mucosa and my teeth. Because that is going to be the effect that we're looking for, because it's the lack of hydration. I know even though we have saliva, it's a lack of hydration. People would be shocked how many people actually have low levels of saliva, even though they think they have a lot of saliva. I talk to my sister all the time who happens to be a dentist, and she's like, yeah, it's like an epidemic. People actually have a lot of low
Really?
levels of saliva. Yeah. And it's low levels of saliva. That's why they have problems with their teeth. So one of the ways to help, support this is to literally like brush after you brush your teeth at night, just then you take 1 to 2 teaspoons in your mouth of castor oil and you swish it around like so. And you literally like try to get it through your teeth.
Yep, I do that too. I do that.
Like
Okay, I will change it now. I will do it in the evening. And I used to do it before brushing my teeth. Now I will do it afterwards. That
yeah.
sounds makes sense.
That's
Okay.
the reason why. You can do it in the daytime too. No reason not to, but I just prefer to do it at nighttime. I just think I just want my mouth to be very moist when I go to bed. And I've noticed it made a difference because I tend to be an open mouth breather. And so I get very, very dry and I don't need to drink as much water. I don't wake up nearly as much either because I honestly think it has simply just to do that. I'm just not dry. And so I'm not just like, oh, I need to drink something. So that I think has been like a real big win for me in terms of like, especially, transitioning through perimenopause and into menopause. I mean, like your sleep cycle starts to go off, all types of things go off. So that's as simple as oil pulling is. Just spit what's left over, don't swallow it, spit it out, spit it into like a napkin, and then just put it down the toilet. And that's probably the best way to go with oil pulling. So that is my nighttime routine. I guess this is done before my hubby kisses me goodnight. That's cute, Sandy. Actually, you know what? If you want to, you can add in essential oils into your oil pulling. So you can add in like a little teeny drop of like peppermint.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Or cinnamon. I love cinnamon. And it just makes it taste a little bit better. And then you can give all the kisses to your husband at night you want to, Sandy. So we'll keep the sex pot alive. We'll
So,
keep it
little
going.
tip for oil pulling with castor oil, what you just suggested, put a little drop of your favorite essential oil. And then obviously you never swallow this oil anyway. You're going to swish it around for a couple minutes. I usually spit it out into like a little napkin or toilet paper and I put it in my trash. I don't actually even flush it down the toilet because that's what I do, and I think it works so well. Okay, so we covered the evening beauty routine, including the oil pulling, everything for the skin and the eyes. Let's
There's
talk
one
about.
more thing though. There's one more
Okay,
thing we can
okay,
do.
okay, please go. Okay. Yep.
So the one more thing would be the castor oil liver pack.
That's
And
what I wanted to ask you about. Okay, go ahead.
yeah, the reason would be so this is my night. This you guys are literally getting a download into a night in the life of Dr. Marisol at home, getting her castor oil thing on. so that's I do that. And then I go and I move to my body because I've taken care of my face from here up. I want to take care of my body as well too. So the castor oil liver pack is one of the most grounding self-care practices that you can do. It is absolutely amazing. It's grounding. It's energetically cleansing. It helps to realign your energy centers. And what this means to you in terms of having a good night's sleep, feeling better, looking better, well, it's everything. Because if you can ground yourself and you can feel better energetically, well, then guess what? You look better, you feel better, you act better, you
See
like
better. You see better.
better, you see better, everything
Right.
is right. But it literally, we can't forget the energetic side of us. We are definitely a physical being, but we also have energy that we want to address. And especially for those who suffer from things like anxiety, I know this personally because I suffered, I still do from time to time. Like if I'm not careful on my routine, my rituals at night, and if I don't make sure I do my things like meditation and my packs and like walks with my dog, these things are very important for my thrive and not just to survive. Because before I found these things, I was literally just trying to survive, like, and after with these things, I can feel myself and I can be like, okay, no, I need to feel peaceful right now. And I'm not. And so I'll put my pack on, or I need to feel better. And then, like, so even during the day, I'll put my pack on if I out of the blue, if I don't feel well. But at night, I put the pack on to ground me and to get me ready to have a great night's sleep. So, and all I do for the pack, it's super, super simple. It looks something like this. It's castor oil pack. All I do is I pour castor oil on the pack, or I roll castor oil onto my liver area, which is underneath my right rib cage, like right here, right? So I would roll castor oil onto that, and then I would attach the pack. And the minute I put these packs on, I get a feeling, a sensation of like feeling very soothed. I feel good in my body. It's just a really, you have to try it to believe it, because this is one of the practices when I first got introduced to castor oil that I was like, what are these people thinking? These natural crazies, like they're crazy. I'm like, what are they? They're putting oil on a pack and then putting it on the body and expecting it to be doing something. I'm like, loco and la cabeza. But it was it really has been a practice that has been in existence since the beginning of time. Like we're talking Cleopatra, Hippocrates, the father of medicine. So we can't discount it. There's a lot to it. And those who do castor oil packs, they never go back. They're always doing castor oil packs. If you know someone who's doing castor oil packs, they will forever be a castor oil pack person, because the minute you do your first castor oil pack, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then you're like, I don't want to live without that. It's like I can live without it, but
I
I
just
don't.
bought some new one. I mean, this is like I just ordered some new ones this morning because doing the castor oil packs religiously. The liver pack, I'm probably doing like, it depends. Sometimes I do it every day for weeks, and then sometimes I do it like 4 to 6 times a week. But yeah, I absolutely love them. And I love you have these inserts, right? So that the pure cotton, and also I love that they have the outside is a little, it's hard to see, but basically you want to make sure that it doesn't leak into your bed sheets, right? Because that's the thing that you and we both don't like grease stains on our bed sheets and washing them. So
And
they
energetically, Claudia, like from an energetic perspective, the liver feeds into the eyes from an energetic energy's perspective. So not that we don't know what it could do for the eyes. We don't know, we can't say or comment on any of those things, but there's something very interesting there. And the way that I look at things is if it doesn't hurt you, it's not going to harm you, if it's relatively inexpensive, if people have been saying lots of good things for a long time about it, I'm going to try it and I'm going to see what it'll do for me because there's likely truth in there somewhere.
I believe some of these ancient traditions, there's a reason they've been done for thousands of years. And so I'm a firm believer in this too. And the liver is connected to the eyes based on Chinese medicine protocols. And obviously, I think liver emotion is anger.
Anger control, yeah.
So I noticed with far-sighted people, there's more an anger usually an issue. With nearsighted people, there's more of a anxiety. You talked about anxiety, but I feel like the grounding aspect is so, it feels so good, like the grounding. And grounding is so important for good vision because when we are grounded, like you said, when we feel relaxed, then we can also see better. That's the only way we have actually perfect vision when we're in that stress mode. But I also like, when we, like, I just thought about it, well, because your packs have these straps. And I remember, like, we what do we call this when we have babies and we kind of wrap them up? Because I actually like
Swaddle
it.
them, to swaddle
Yeah,
them.
totally. Like
Yes. Yeah.
exactly. It's almost
Yeah.
like a little modeling action because it just feels like you are held and supported. So I absolutely love those liver packs. I do the eye mask and the liver pack pretty much every night. So thank you for explaining why this would be a good thing to try. I know you have other packs too. You have one for the thyroid. I have not tried this. I also don't have thyroid problems, but would you want to talk about that for a little moment?
Yeah.
That's
So the thyroid pack is used more for like again one of the area where women age the first and foremost is on the neck. The décolletage it's called. Wonderful. What a good name. And this area often gets forgotten, but like we were talking about before, again, the big reason why we look older faster is because we're stressed out and our muscles are tightened here on our shoulders and our whole body is tight, right? And that's exactly what we're trying to like release. And that's what we're doing with like grounding and the liver pack and the beautiful rituals at night and daytime in order to get our body back into the right place where it really belongs and should be. And it's the same thing for the thyroid. So again, some people use the thyroid pack more frequently just because they may be dealing with something with their thyroid and they just want comfort in the area and they want to help it feel soothed. So that's fine to do there too. But for me, I don't deal with anything like that, like you. You and I are both so thin and tiny, like we're okay there. We are definitely okay there. But many women are dealing with thyroid problems. So if that's you, then it would be more of a something that you would be doing nightly. For me, I use it about weekly, and I do it like a weekly self-care beautification regime. So I will do not only the thyroid pack, the neck pack for the décolletage, but I will also do the hot oil hair treatment with castor oil on for about an hour. And I do this every Sunday. So Sunday is my day to basically like self-care with castor oil. So I'll do the décolletage, I'll do the neck area, I'll do the hair area, and then sometimes I'll do like a facial scrub with castor oil. I'll do a mask with castor oil. But where I start is with my hair because I want to pull it all out. So before I put the wrap on, what I do with the hair is I basically take, again, dollop of castor oil, put a little bit in the roots. Less is more. Less I'm going to emphasize that. If you put too much castor oil in your hair, it is going to become a disaster. It'll be impossible to get out. Less is more. If you can look at the consistency of my hair, I have about a medium to a thin hair, healthy. And mainly, I think that's because I do castor oil so regularly. Because I can tell when I go on conferences, like say Claudia, when we went to our conferences in the fall, you and I were jumping to a few different conferences. So I was on the road and I didn't have a chance to do my weekly like hair practice. And I was using a lot of hot iron on my hair to make it look curly and pretty for the videos we were doing. And my hair was starting to feel damaged and look damaged too. So the minute I got home, I'm like, I'm in need. I need to do this. So I'm gonna do it. So I have a medium to a thin hair. If you have thinner hair than mine, you're gonna use even less oil. So I use only a dime size, imagine, of castor oil for my hair. So if you have less hair and thinner hair, you use less and less. Less is
And
more.
then
And
you rub your hands together and you just put it through the hair. Okay, I will try that
you
out.
rub your hands together. You put it actually, what you're looking to do is in the roots and in the scalp. So you literally want the, like, because you'll see women will start to lose hair in areas like here.
Right,
They'll start to lose hair in areas like here. And oftentimes this area is the worst though for like male pattern baldness, which can occur quite frequently as we start to get older. And so, you want to focus it on there because typically part of hair loss is it, definitely could be hormonal, but it could also just be a dry scalp. It could literally be a dry scalp. So, with this, you are applying, moisturizing, hydrating with the very best oil to moisturize, deeply hydrate, richly nourish your scalp. Because it's more about the scalp than it is even about the hair. Because the scalp carries the root. And what
right.
we want to do is make a good home and a garden for the root of the hair. And that falls along the same principle as like if you put castor oil on your face, am I going to get hair now as a beard all over the place? Like you won't, because you're not what you're doing with castor oil is you're working the base. It's the base, right? It is the base. It is the starting point for all different things. And in the hair, you again roots, and then you take whatever's left over in your castor oil and you put it on the outside of your hair, and you put it on the bottom of the hair. And now, Claudia, like well, you've known me with short hair, but I'm actually growing my hair because I'm doing a 10-year wedding anniversary with my husband next November. And in all our wedding pictures, I had long hair. So I'm
Oh,
kind of,
that's so cute.
my daughter challenged me. She said, just listen to what she said from the mouth of the babe, a 24-year-old babe. You should probably just grow your hair once because you're getting older and it might not happen again.
Oh my
That's
God,
what
that is
she
so
said.
hot. So you're so funny. So basically, I'm going to try this. I guess I have to put another order, and I just ordered a whole
Yeah.
lot. So I would put on the thyroid pack and the hair wrap. So basically, you put it what you described. Then you put this thing on for like an hour, and then what?
So this is basically like a hot oil hair treatment for your hair. If anyone does anyone drop it in the chat? Do you remember Alberto VO5 hot oil hair treatments? Did anyone do those as a teenager or as a young? You were in Germany, so you might not have. But Trisha Kirby, oh yeah, lots of thumbs up. Yeah, yeah. Hey girls, my VO5 girls. That's perfect. But yeah, like what I loved about that was that it was a hot oil treatment, which actually it makes a lot of sense for when it comes to your hair. Like you really want to like heat up, make everything like do well. But with this pack alone, it heats up the oil. You're like after I can't do more than an hour because my head feels so hot. Like it just feels so nourished. So you can just imagine what's happening with all the castor oil in my scalp by wearing that, right? And
Yeah.
then and Trisha asked, like, how do you wash it out easily? If you stick to the premise of less is more, just again, I use shampoo Wellness. I love that line, Wellness. It's a good girlfriend of mine, Katie Spears. You probably have a link that you can get them that can help them get maybe a discount, Claudia, for Wellness.
I don't have a link, but I have the toothpaste. Yeah, I love that product as well. So
They're so
wellness.
good. Yeah, the shampoo is excellent and clean, and I love it. And so I'll use that one afterwards, and it really like just washes it out perfectly. So that's why I do the hair thing on a once a week for me. Some people who have issues with hair and just want to like get a little bit more nourishment and a little bit more hydration in their scalp, they might do it twice a week, but typically about once a week. But it washes out fine as long as you don't use too much. If you use too
Yeah,
much,
that makes sense. My hair is more dry, so I'm gonna try this. Okay, now you got me inspired. I have to put in another order. But there was first of all, and then the last thing, I've never seen this before, but you also have packs for the breast, and I ordered them because I'm like, I want to try this. Like, tell us a little bit about that. Like, what is? Yeah, there you go. You put that in your bra.
yeah, so these you just put into your like, so for example, I have a little queen bee t-shirt here and like I have my bra, right? So all you do is you just put them into your bra and then you attach there's a little strap, you just attach it onto your bra so it doesn't go anywhere.
Right.
Or oftentimes I don't wear a bra and I just wear I'm big into no bra and like organic tank tops. And so I wear a lot of those. And again, I'll just attach the packs onto the straps. So that is the easy way to do it. And this is a lot about, again, soothing the area. For me, when I would use mainly the breast packs was when like cyclically I tend to have breast pain. And so for me, I would then wear the packs and around it, and it would just give a sensation of soothing that I could tolerate, because there were just some times where I would have to be like who are the ladies out there that had to like hold their breast to their chest in
My
order to
God,
like,
I totally know, like when it's cold and it rubs against the clothes. Or when I was breastfeeding back in the day, my nipples were sore. So this sounds like something really soothing as well. Anyway, everybody listening, whatever you
it's good for Christmas. Honestly, guys, if you want to give something away for Christmas, gift away the roller and gift away an eye mask. And get people into this routine of like, starting to work with the eye roller for their eye makeup removal and going to bed with an eye mask. That's a really good starting point. If you have young girls, there are young girls in their 20s and even in their teens, they're just getting brainwashed with all the marketing and advertising that's happening in the beauty industry, and they're kind of with it, right? So they're cool and they want to do things cleaner, but they're being marketed clean beauty,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is totally greenwashed, which means that they're on the packaging, like, look at this. Like, I went into Sephora for the first time in literally like about a month ago, and I'm like, ooh, clean beauty. It's like all over the place. It's fantastic. And so I got this clean beauty sample of like green clay, and I was like, this is awesome. I get back to my hotel room. I love free samples, right? We all love free samples. I open it up and I'm like, or I actually look at the ingredients first before opening it up, and I'm like, oh, it's toxic. I'm like, it's clay. Like, why do you need to put toxic ingredients in clay? It makes no sense. But they do it because it's cheaper, it fills it up. And here's what I want to let you guys really think about is, what if all of these toxins in our beauty cosmetics and self-care products are literally meant to be there so it actually makes you age faster, so you keep using the product more and more. And castor oil is not something that's going to give you that false promise. It ain't about that. With castor oil, it's about, this is what it is, this is what you're going to get, try it, see for yourself. But with these kinds of things, it's a mystery, and you're left in the unknown, unsafe, with companies who really are just more working on their bottom line and building up their business rather than building up your health and beauty and well-being long term. So that's what I want to encourage people to think about. And if you have young daughters, start gifting them and getting them into things like castor oil early on, because I look at myself, and I learned in my 20s, but man, Claudia, had I actually, like, I didn't really start using the castor oil until probably my 30s. Like in my 20s, I was like, oh, castor oil, interesting, but I was like, had I started in my 20s, I can just imagine my face would be like spectacular. I wish I would have started.
Same here. I mean, I started in my like late 50s. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I will get, that's a really great idea. I think I will definitely do a little more stocking stuffers. And if you're watching live, it's Black Friday anyway. So make sure
Go
this is
shop now. Yeah.
if you use this later, it's always castor oil is just so affordable. And I love, I think important to point out is that this is almost empty. That's why I ordered more. But to get it in glass and get it like, organic. This is the one thing in the Indian store. Everything I saw was in plastic bottles and it wasn't organic. So we want to make sure we do that. It's very affordable. I mean, compared to all the hundreds of thousands of dollars that skincare costs. And like you said, the greenwashing, it's a real problem. I mean, it's like we know in the food industry now, right? But for some reason there's still this blind spot when it comes to cosmetics, and they're totally using that as marketing. And I used to work in marketing, so I know all the dirty tricks.
Yeah.
But you
People don't want to talk about it.
all
They
the
don't want
real,
to
right?
talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Um,
and beauty is something that, like, everyone gets. They get that food will have toxins and organic is better. They get it. And they're reading labels, and they've been reading labels for over 2 decades. Nobody gets to read your label on your beauty cosmetics because everyone actually really thinks that they're highly regulated, and they
mhm.
don't realize It's not true, like at all. Like no one's looking at it. We're literally, it is the least regulated industry of them all, and the one that they can do whatever they want. And they can put ingredients like something called fragrance, which if there's one ingredient I want you to start looking for in all of your beauty care products is the ingredient fragrance. So look at that, write that word down. I'm gonna write it in the chat for you ladies. Fragrance.
Fragrance, no fragrance. We don't want
Yes,
that. Yeah.
fragrance. Companies do not need to disclose what makes up their fragrance. And the reason why is because it is a commercial secret, like no different than like Kentucky Fried Chicken, 12 famous spices or whatever for their Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's the best analogy I can make. And if you think back to the like 1800s, 1900s, back in the day, all the clothing companies would all then do a fragrance, and all the beauty companies would also do a fragrance. And fragrance was proprietary, so they didn't need to disclose. So they put in law and in action that the ingredients of a fragrance do not need to be said. However, fragrances contain xenoestrogens, phthalates that make the smell last longer, parabens, everything under the sun. But they do not need to disclose it. So you could have a bottle of shampoo that says paraben free, phthalate free, but if it has the ingredient fragrance on it, it probably isn't. So that's the kind of thing that we need to be understanding and knowing. And so I just want to encourage everyone, if they want to follow me at Be Well Queen on YouTube, I'm going to be very, very active as of the new year. I'm filming all of my content in terms of clean beauty and how to do it well. And there and on Instagram and TikTok, follow me. I'll teach you. I'll show you. I will help you to step by step learn to get this stuff out of your life, because here's the thing, they're only going to keep on creating more of these toxic beauty products unless we start to boycott them. So we don't buy their stuff anymore. We make with our money our message. We let them know that unless they start to change things and clean up their act, we're not buying it. We're going for single ingredient clean. Bottom
I
line.
love that. And it's like I said, I love the simplicity of everything too. We have a couple of questions. I know we're already going for an hour, but we have a couple of questions I do want to answer, have you answer. So Kim said she loves your products. She's been using them for a long time. But she's wondering, for I guess for the skin, when we talked about the washing, right, of the face, it will hardly come off, but then I think you addressed it with less is more. And then what about how long does the bottle, like how long when you buy a bottle of castor oil, like how long does it degrade? Because we've also heard about, oils getting rancid, and like how long does it last before it expires? So it's not good for the skin anymore, right?
Great question, Krim. So the good thing with Queen of the Thrones is all we do is castor oil and castor oil packs. That's it. So you can imagine we freshly bottle our castor oil every day. So every day we're bottling new and fresh, and it's moving out of our factories. So that's really good to know, because a lot of other companies, castor oil for them is just one of 100 million other different products. So they probably aren't selling the volume that we're selling. So ours tends to retain its freshness and quality very long. And know that castor oil has a heat tolerance issue, which means that not issue tolerance, a high level of heat tolerance. So it can go all the way up to 230 degrees Fahrenheit. So you're rather safe. What I always do with castor oil, though, is I literally do the smell check. With our castor oil, if you go and smell it, opening my new bottle here, it mildly smells like nutty. It
It
isn't,
does.
guys, it's totally different. And that is a tell of the quality. So I do the smell test. And, if anyone comes to us and says, I did the smell test with your thing and I don't like it, I'll return it for you. Don't you guys worry. I'll take care of you, because I want you to make sure that you know that you are getting the best one. So that is the key. And so, and depending, the cool thing with Queen of the Thrones, we have all kinds of sizes. So if you want to go to like a small size and just kind of start testing out, if you want to buy some for your daughter.
More in the big one, but you have a middle one too, I think, right?
This is, oh, I forget, an American, 3 ounces. This one is, we got an 8 ounce bottle, and then we have like a large 16 ounce bottle, right? So we've got all the bottles. Like the 16 ounce bottle is if you're like me, who does like everything with castor oil, like wash my face, castor oil packs. Like, I'm flipping through a bottle of this every 2 to 3 weeks. I need a new one, right? Like it's like, where's the castor oil? And then I got my husband who keeps stealing my castor oil too. So that's the scenario. But yeah, so as long I would start, we have some really good deals on our website right now, like of our mid-size bottle that you basically get 2 of them. That's really good too, because that saves you from when you open it. But again, if you're looking at like Queen of the Thrones, you've got a really good quality guarantee there. So you'll
Right.
be
Another question Kim also had is like, how long do you leave a liver pack on if you do it during the day? And also, how often do you have to wash them? Like how often and how long do they last, basically?
awesome. So during the day, I'll wear it for usually about an hour, or until I'm soothed completely. So it really depends. Like, last a couple of weeks ago, I had a pretty good flu for about 7 to 10 days. And like, I'm not gonna lie, my past castor oil pack was on me pretty much like all day long. Was like, so it depends how you're feeling, right? But minimum, I think an hour during the day. And when you wear it at night, I think you should really, really aim to try to go overnight. I don't always make it overnight. Midway through the night, sometimes I'll wake up, I'll take it off, which is fine. But I got a lot of like face time, which means I got quality time with my pack on my liver. So just try to do that as much as you can and try to aim for overnight. Our packs, if you purchase what's called an insert will make your pack last longer. So if you guys have no pack at all and you want to go buy the whole contraption, get yourself a liver pack and then buy inserts. Buy 2 liver inserts. The inserts, you can fit them in to the straps, and then all you do is you're putting the oil in the insert, and then every week or two, you take the insert out, you wash it, and you replace it with a new insert. And honestly, that makes the outside shell, which is the more expensive part, last longer. And then the inserts are like 20 some dollars. They're a lot less expensive. And then it's a way for you to like maximize your money with the packs. So I did
Yeah.
that on purpose because our company, our prerogative is to be sustainable, to make sure people can have access to castor oil packs, and to really try to obviously like encourage washing. Like my goal is not to sell everybody like a brand new like my goal is to encourage washing, get inserts, use the system of the castor oil pack. And then that way it'll last longer for you and it'll be better for you and the environment.
I love that, and I love those inserts too, because I mean I have a German washing machine. I can wash it at 90 Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's basically so the inserts are just cotton, so you can wash them super hot, and
Exactly.
it's like versus the outer, the like you said, the liver packs have that kind of coating on it so that they don't leak. So I wash them hot, but not as hot. So I feel like the inserts last us for a long time. I love them absolutely. I just got a couple more, but yeah, I think like what you said, I love what you said. At some point, we want to replace something because it just doesn't feel. But usually, I've had this pack for probably with the inserts, right? But you see the straps at some point. I mean, I've used this like literally every night.
That's
So
the point,
with
right? Like if you're using inserts, you could probably get your pack to last like 4 to 6 months,
I
right? If you're
definitely.
not using inserts, your pack might last 2 months. That's a
Yeah.
difference.
If you use it every day, exactly. So the inserts are just so convenient. I love that you created those. I absolutely love them. So I think we basically that was just Kim was just asking about the washing, and I guess that is just like when you use the washcloth. I mean, I usually have a cloth that I use to take my makeup off, and I rinse it in hot water, and I don't use a new one every night, but maybe every like 3, 4 nights. Like same with bath towels, right? You don't want to use them longer than that. Yeah, I mean,
I
right,
wash it, and after I do it, I wash it and I wring it out, and then I
right,
like
right.
hang it on my tap is actually what I do. I hang it on my tap, and then it's ready to go for the next day, which is I
Yeah.
think an easy way. And I agree. I don't want to overwash my towels. I don't want to. I want to be really cognizant of the environment. Like this is really important, and that's also a big reason why we package in glass. Because a lot of plastic, even though they say it's being recycled, it really isn't. And so
That's another story. Yeah.
yeah, and this is a good thing. There's a really cool question from Sandy Lyon about the difference between castor oil and jojoba oil. So
Okay, let's talk about that. I know we're over an hour. If you have a little bit longer time, we have some eye, really quick, we have some eye questions on YouTube, but we cannot speak to eye health here. And I just want to say, when it comes to eye conditions or redness in your eyes, like I would see your ophthalmologist. Never put anything into your eyes that's not sterile, period. Doesn't matter what it is. Yeah, so don't do that.
yeah.
Or to the eye doctor and ask them for advice. But that's what I would
Yeah.
say to them.
And if you're seeing castor oil for the eyes on the market, I can clarify this. I mean, it better be sterile because really the only person who prescribes it or uses it are pharmacists and MDs, and they get sterilized castor oil for the eye.
Exactly.
So it's
Yeah.
not our castor oil. It's not. So be very aware. And if there is, just, I don't know if I would buy it. I would just be very cautious in terms of it because if you're finding it on Amazon, I'm sure you are. I would just be cautious because how are they guaranteeing sterility? There was a ton of different recalls in the eye sector about, was it 6 months ago to a year,
It
Claudia?
was last fall, but yeah, the FDA recalled all these artificial tears and eye drops because they weren't, so they found
Thank
so
you.
many not sterile and people lost vision. I mean,
It's
you need to at least be
dangerous. Yeah.
careful what you put in your eyes. That's what I want to say to that too. So,
Yeah, it's super dangerous. So
yeah.
difference between castor oil and jojoba oil. So, which oils are known as the carrier oils? It's jojoba oil and it is almond oil. Now, what they forget to mention is the best carrier oil, which is castor oil. So castor oil by far like blows out of the water jojoba oil as well as almond oil in terms of a carrier oil for essential oils. So if anyone is working with any essential oils for anything, some people will use frankincense around their eyes cosmetically. They might put a little bit of frankincense or lemon or something lavender on their liver pack before they go to bed, just to add a little bit of more oomph to it. Again, you're doing that with castor oil. Jojoba oil, again, is also comedogenic. So there's some problems with jojoba oil. It's a thinner type oil. It's not a horrible oil, but it has a time and a place. So one of the things I didn't mention today is I don't use castor oil as my daytime moisturizer because for daytime, I want something a little bit lighter. So a little
Right.
bit would be a combination of something that has like a jojoba oil I really like jojoba. I like neroli. There could be a little wee bit of diluted castor oil, but I definitely want at least neroli oil is one of my favorites. It's like a citrus oil, which has been known for like helping with wrinkles and stuff. So that's what you could do for the daytime would be a jojoba oil mix.
Thank you for clarifying that because I definitely don't use castor oil during the day either. It's like you said, it's too thick, but I love it at night. So for the
And
daytime,
then, yeah, yeah.
okay, it's a great tip. So I think we kind of covered everything. I mean, we can definitely bring you back and talk more detail. We've been going over an hour, and now everybody will say these videos are too long, but we covered a lot of ground and really great insights. So thank you so much, Dr. Marisol. We will have a little bit of extra time with my Clear Vision Club off YouTube. That's private. Make sure you follow her on Instagram. Where else can people find you? Be Well Queen.
YouTube will be big. YouTube is going to be my main focus this year. I want to do a lot of long form content for you and just teach you reading labels, which ingredients to get out of your life, all of these things. I think that they're just super, super important. So I'll be teaching a lot about that on YouTube.
And teach your routines like what you showed us. Like I would love little
Oh, I
videos.
will.
Routines.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And then we put the link, that is my affiliate link. We put that in the show notes. So if you want to I'm going to buy more stuff, but if you want to get something, and you're watching right now, it's Black Friday. But again, castor oil is affordable all year round, but right now it's super extra affordable. So
Yeah.
I bought a whole bunch of liver and packs and liver, and so I just bought gifts also for my family. So thank you so much for being here. And if you have any questions and you're watching this as a replay, put them in the comments. We will do our best to answer them. And if I don't know the answer, I will message Marisol and ask her what am I supposed to say if I don't know the answer. Thank you guys. Bye, YouTube. Subscribe to
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for having me and thank you to all your wonderful people who are just so beautiful and amazing. Thank you, Pia, Trisha, Gian, Sandy Lynn, Veronica. Oh, all of you guys have been just so like participatory and amazing. And I love you all. And I wish you the best of luck on your shifting over and swapping out those dirty, dirty products and get on over to Castor Oil bandwagon.
But
Awesome. Thank you,
stay on,
my
stay
friend.
on. We still have you in the YouTube, in the cast community here, Dr. Marisol. So we're gonna say goodbye to YouTube, but then we will still do a little private powwow. Okay.